Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 10 book recommendations that are very much suitable for youngsters. Before getting into the video, I have to tell that all these 10 books are fiction books. So these books will be mostly about having fun rather than being inspirational in any sense. If you want inspirational books, do watch out for my another video which I'll be publishing in a day or two after this one. And it is mostly targeted towards the audience who are in their 20s, and I definitely think you should read those books as well. If you're looking for some fun books, then you're into the right video. So without any further ado, let's get into the recommendations. Now this video is split into two main parts. The first part is going to be books that are mainly focused towards friendship, and the second part is dedicated to books that are focused towards love. I'll leave the timestamp in the description, so the video will be split into chapters. If you're looking for romance books, you can obviously skip on and go to the second half of the video, because I have 5 very good romance books out there which you will also love. The first book that I'm recommending today is The Belated Bachelor Party by Ravinder Singh. Now, this is a book that is about 4 guys who used to be friends during college. They were not just friends, but they were also roommates while they studied college for 4 years. And after those 4 years, they got split up just like any other person, and they took their lives as such. And like 10 to 15 years after they have finished college, they plan to meet up and have a get together, and they are planning for going to a trip in Europe, where after going there they have a lot of things that are going wrong. And I'm sure that if you read this book, you can be any person. You need not be Indian in order to experience the fun that is expressed in this book, because all of us would have experienced at least 1 or 2 things that have been put out as scenes in this book by Ravinder Singh. It is so much fun, it is so much relatable, and I'm sure that you'll be having a fun ride. It is also a short book, so you'll be able to finish it so easily, and it is also very much light-hearted. The next book that I'm recommending is Girl Online by Zoe Sugg. Now, in this book we have a girl named Penny, and she had this accident with her parents while they were driving the car, and that accident has caused something in her mind. It is not that she is physically harmed in any way, neither her parents are physically harmed in any way, but this traumatic incident has caused some effects of PTSD in her mind. Despite being the center point of the book, the entire story of the book is so much fun to read. It also has a small element of romance that makes like a fourth of the book, but the main thing that is discussed throughout the book is the friendship between Penny and her friend. I think his name is David, I don't remember it properly, but their friendship, how it travels from the beginning of the book and how it ends at the ending of the book. That's so much beautiful to read about. It shows how friends can become jealous when some other people come into one's life, and how they strive in order to get their position back. And rather than all those jealousies and fights which friends have in between them, at the end of the day they just come together just for the fact that they are friends. It is so much relatable, and it is very much fun and lighthearted. I'm sure that you will enjoy this. The next 2 books that I'm recommending are John Green books, and they are Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns, both by John Green. Now, I'd recommend Paper Towns over Looking for Alaska if you're looking for fun, and if you're looking for a better book, then I'd recommend Looking for Alaska, because the ending of Looking for Alaska is not fun. It is it is not at all normal. It is a tragedy rather than a funny ending or a happy ending. But the ride in which this book takes you, the experiences that are felt by the friend group that is shown in this book, they might be relatable to some people. I'll not say that it will be relatable to all, because there are certain extreme things that have been discussed in this book. Yet it is it is a friendship adventure, and it is exactly portrayed in a raw way by John Green. So I like this book a lot, and I also think that everyone needs to try this. Though it's raw and crude, it is very much fun when it comes to the friendship parts. And Paper Towns, I'll not say this is my least favorite John Green book that I've read, because it has a plot, but the plot is not at all progressing in any way. The only thing which I liked a lot in this book was the friendship that was shown between 3 guys. That is the main character, who's Quentin, and his 2 friends. The conversations that they have, the times they meet, they have this insane car ride they have to take, and there are many things which you have to consider while going for a ride, and some of the things turn out to be very much funny, because for example, just think that your bladder is filled. You cannot just stop your car when you're on a deadline to reach a spot within a certain amount of time, and you have to return back for your exams. You cannot stop in order to empty your bladder. Those are certain very funny scenes which will be relatable to a lot of people, and this is very fun to read in that aspect. Don't go into this looking for a great plot or a great story. Just get in for a fun experience of reading a book about good friends. The last book that I'm recommending under the friendship category is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. In this book, we have a boy named Charlie, and we follow his life in the form of diary entries or journal entries from the time that he's 10 or 11 years old to the time when he's 16 to 17 years old. During this time, he makes a few amount of friends. His relationship with his siblings has been discussed well. His relationship with his family and his mother and father in specific is discussed well. Everything starts out to be a bit bitter in this book, but towards the end, everything is wrapped up in a proper way, and it is very much believable, and it feels like it can happen to anyone in their real life. This is a quirky book, if you ask me. That's the perfect way to describe this one, because it is so light-hearted. You can watch this movie or you can read this book during the night and then go to sleep, because you will sleep happily that night. It is that kind of a light-hearted story, and the friendship aspect of this book is the friendship between Charlie and his two other friends, who's a boy and a girl. I don't remember their names properly, and it is so good in that sense. They three come together, and every chapter or scene in which three of them together is it puts out that magical spell of the three friend group. Usually, a three friend group is so good, right? And it is shown very well in this. Moving on to the romance books, the first book that I'm recommending is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. In this book, we have girl whose twin sister is married to the groom, and the groom's brother is the male lead of the story. Due to certain happenings which happen in the wedding, everyone that ate food in the wedding have a food poisoning, and the bride and groom obviously are not able to go on their honeymoon. And the problem with this is that they cannot cancel the honeymoon and take the money back and go for it on another time. It is non-refundable. So they convince the brother of the groom and the sister of the bride and make them go together in their names to the honeymoon. And the things that happen in this honeymoon are so hilarious. Okay, actually, these two people used to hate each other as kids, and even now that hatred has followed to them in their adulthood also. These two kind of adults, they are going to the honeymoon as unhoneymooners, and the things that happen there are so hilarious. They are so funny. They are so steamy at times. There is a lot of lies, and there's a lot of things that they make up in order to make believe people that they are a real couple. It is so hilarious, guys. I'm sure that if you're looking for a fun romantic book, it is. I'll highly recommend this one. Towards the end, it is a bit too cliche, but the experience of reading this book will definitely be a lot of fun. Next one that I'm recommending is obviously the most popular of all the books that I'm recommending today, and it is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. In this book, we have a girl named Hazel and a guy named Augustus. Hazel is a person who's having a type of cancer in her lungs, and Augustus used to have cancer in his leg, and he lost a leg for cancer. Now he's okay, but Hazel is not. These two people, they form a romantic relationship, and how they work on it, that's the main part of the book. There's also this book which Hazel loves a lot, and there are certain things which Augustus does in order to make Hazel feel happy, because it's sure that Hazel is not going to survive, and she is going to obviously die, but until then she needs to be happy. She needs to live her life for the briefest amount of time that she has in a very good way. So Augustus does certain things for us, for her, and towards the end of the book there's this big twist, and I'm sure that if you start reading the book you'll be able to make out what the twist is. I was not able to because I'm just dumb, and it is such a good book, guys. Many people say that The Fault in Our Stars is a sad book. I accept that it's a sad book, but the amount of humor and love that have been packed into this tiny little book, it's so much. Okay, and don't just call The Fault in Our Stars a sad love story. It is also a story about friendship and love, with a lot of funny incidents that have been scattered throughout the story. The next book that I'm recommending is my most favorite romance book, and it is P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. Now, in this book, we have a couple named Holly and Jerry, and due to brain tumor, Jerry dies. The book starts with his death and how Holly has to deal with his death. Now, after a few days passing Jerry's death, Holly receives a package, and in that package, there are a lot of letters which have been bundled together, and all these letters are written by Jerry. Uh, these letters have certain things which Holly has to do after Jerry has died. Since Jerry has been diagnosed with brain tumor and undergoing treatment, he has written these letters in secret to her, and he wanted to deliver the letters to her after his death, and she also gets them. And how she handles handles life after his death, and what are the things that Jerry has asked Holly to do in order to make her life better with his absence. They are so beautiful. It is a painful story, but it is so much romantic, and I'm sure that when you finish reading this book, you will end up liking it and loving it a lot. The next two that I'm recommending are series, and of these, the first one that I'm recommending is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This is the fourth book in the series, which is City of Fallen Angels. Now, in this series, we have angelic people called shadow hunters, and there are like a lot of demons in this world. It is urban fantasy, so you see the real world and also a layer of another world that is parallelly running along with the world in which we exist. And all these magical beings called the shadow hunters, they also live with us, but they are not visible to our eyes because they can do magic. They can put on glamours, and they are very much trained in physical combat because they have to take down demons. That's their prime job to do for any shadow hunter. And there are these three instruments called the Mortal Instruments, which the antagonist of the story is trying to accumulate in order to overthrow all the shadow hunters and bring them all under his control. And the story is so good, guys. Though this might seem like a very much fantastical plot, the amount of romance that you can see in this book, it is so good. It is so angsty. I'm sure that if you are a person who likes reading romantic novels, you will love this series, because from book 1 to book 5, every book has leaping bounds of romance throughout, and it is so good. She doesn't make it cringy in any way. She makes the romance as beautiful as it can be. It is angsty, it is so steamy, but it is so beautiful to me. It doesn't make you cringe or feel uncomfortable at any moment. It is so good in that way. I'm currently in the last book of the series, and I'm loving it a lot. I'm sure that you should try this if you like romance. The last series that I'm recommending in this video is the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah Maas. This series has 4 books out now, which are A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. I've read only the first 2 books, and the second one is obviously my most favorite, and I'm sure that if you read this series, the second book will be your favorite compared to the first one. I'm not sure about the third one because I'm not read it yet. And the main thing about the story is that it is the retelling of a loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast in a fantasy universe. We have this huntress named Farah, and she has to hunt in order to feed her family of two elder sisters, and her father. Her father has some physical problem due to which he cannot work, and he's just idle at home. And Farah's the only person who's responsible, and she takes care of all the things in her house. And one day, accidentally, she kills a beast, and that beast turns out to be a fae. So the Fey Lord of that beast, he comes and takes Farah to the Fey land, and it is so fun. Okay, the romance in this is so much explicit, guys. I'm sure that if you like steamy romance, you'll like this a lot. Rather than fantasy, this is a romance that is just set up in a fantasy universe. The magic is not the main aim in this one. The romance between the characters, that's the best. And I'm sure that the first book is okay. It might feel a bit offensive at many times because it is offensive. But the second book, it is so out of the world, guys. You can just experience the proper romance that is slowly built and shown in the story to you. And it is so believable. And I'm sure that you'll enjoy that also. That's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.